What impact do NFTs and the blockchain have in that world?
As far as NFTs goes, I still feel that the space on the NFT side is a bit premature. You're seeing people still treat it more of like a speculative industry where they're trying to make a quick buck out of it right now. And so that's why you saw the crypto fluctuation go up so much last year and then come down. So I do think we're a little bit away on the NFT side. The technology behind the blockchain security, though, I believe has potential and can definitely help keep data safe. But, nothing is certain. There's threats are always emerging. We don't know what's going to be around the corner, and I think there's a tremendous business opportunity for entrepreneurs in this space to get ahead and create new products that help solve these problems.
What's up, action takers? Welcome back to After Hours Entrepreneur. This is your guide to building your very own thriving, freedom-loving, freedom-building six-figure business. And today, I'm bringing you a backstage pass to the NSU Levan Center of Innovation's Innovation Day 2022. This event was incredible. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of innovators and entrepreneurs from the South Florida area all congregated in one place in one time. What you're about to watch is one of the episodes in the series where I'm talking with a local entrepreneur who's making it happen just like you. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn some new skills, to learn what's working, hear some amazing stories from entrepreneurs, and walk away with some actionable tips that are going to help you build up your business. And by the way, this episode is sponsored by Mark Savant Media. Mark Savant Media gives you the tools to launch, grow, and monetize your very own podcast. You want more info? All you gotta do is go to www.marksavantmedia.com to launch and grow your very own podcast. It's gonna crush it, baby. All right, enough of me. It's time to get into this episode with an awesome innovator at the NSU Innovation Center. Let's go. Quick shout out to our sponsors over at Fran Bridge Consulting. They specialize in placing you with the best non-food franchises on earth. And the best part, it's 100% free. Do yourself a favor and sign up for a free call with the CEO, John Austinson, today over at franbridgeconsulting.com. He'll even send you a free book, 100% free. Go to franbridgeconsulting.com, chat with the CEO, John, today. All right, let's get into the episode.
Bhavya, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
I'm glad to have you here. We are here at the Levan Center, downtown Nova. You're an NSU student right now, right? Just moved here from Canada.
That's correct. Yeah.
What was that experience like moving from another country halfway, I guess not halfway across the world, but basically from another country all the way down to South Florida? What's that experience been like?
Well, it's been a fabulous experience, but definitely a shocker in terms of, weather and everything, just moving down here halfway across the continent, like you said, or fully across the continent. But you got to take opportunities when they arise. And I know you're doing a show pretty much all about people, entrepreneurs and taking risks and all that. And I think moving across the continent, in your 20s, I'd never lived on my own before. So this is kind of an entrepreneurial take, sort of, in terms of moving out. So it's been a great experience. NSU is a great school. And I look forward to, obviously, opportunities here at the Levan Center, but all over, NSU and South Florida.
So you said that you moved here, and this is your first time living out of the house.
That is correct, yeah.
So, to me, that's a big life change, right? And a lot of stuff happens there. Who was more nervous, you or your parents?
I think I was nervous. We were nervous in different ways. I think, my mom was more like, yeah, if you want to do this, go ahead and do it. My dad was more obviously, make sure the financing works out. If you're financing such an expensive education, make sure that you really are, buckled down, ready to go, and have a plan, because in case things don't work out or whatever, that you're able to finance this move and make sure, you advance your career forward.
Speaking of career, what are you going to school for? What's your goal?
Yeah, so I'm a master's student here at NSU in information systems. And so we're allowed to concentrate in three areas. We've got a cybersecurity option, which is certified by the NSA. It's very highly sought after. We've got a data systems concentration as well as a user interface UX UI concentration, or you can do no concentration and kind of do like a pick your choice and have the experience to choose courses from a variety of different disciplines.
All of these platforms, all these programs are very important, very relevant. We spend more and more time each day online in the digital world, as everybody is sitting here watching and listening to us in digital form. But where do you see your future going? Where do you see yourself going here, Bhavya? Where are you going to be at in 5 years?
Well, that's a great question that you're asking, and I think that's kind of part of the reason I moved down here in the first place. When you look at what's going on the last few years, we're going through an era of tremendous change. States handled the COVID response differently, and being in my early 20s and seeing how we were locked down pretty severely in Canada. I know Florida was a lot more open, and so that kind of pushed me and made it make a decision that I need to go at least in a direction right now where it's more open. There's more opportunity. You look at what's happening in Canada right now. The Canadian dollar, unfortunately, that it's gone down quite a bit because the inflation's pretty bad. I know it's bad in the United States as well, but the United States is a reserve currency. They've got certain ways that they can make sure that the dollar stays high. And as someone who pays tuition and all my savings are in Canadian dollars or monopoly money, as we joke around, I'm definitely feeling a pinch. When I was planning on coming to the U.S., one Canadian dollar got you about 81 cents on the U.S. dollar. It's down to about 72 cents right now, which is a significant amount. And it all has to do with the debt, the inflation that's going on in Canada, and people's ability or investors' ability to look at the U.S. dollar as more of a safe haven, whereas the Canadian dollar, they're not confident that just like the United States, we are hiking interest rates in Canada as well, but not at a pace that investors are confident in the Canadian dollar. And I think that's a huge concern for the economy. Another problem that we got in Canada is the housing market. Miami is an expensive city to rent, but in terms of owning, you can still find a decent apartment here at a reasonable price. Whereas in Canada, the income to housing ratio is so messed up that the apartment that I live in right now that I'm renting here in South Florida, which is an expensive market, if someone were to try and buy that apartment, it's about $330,000. That same apartment in Vancouver would go for over $1 million. And so it's not like the wages are higher in Vancouver. I would say that, Vancouver is more like the San Francisco cost of living, but wages of maybe Oregon. So I think a lot of young people are definitely frustrated. They're stuck renting. They're stuck in a trap where they can't get ahead. And that's why I kind of looked at, why don't I go out to a new state to work, to study. So you asked your original question about where do you see yourself in 5 years. I think I would like to work in, in information systems, probably cybersecurity or something to do with data in 5 years.
Yo, are you interested in business ownership? For many entrepreneurs, the journey starts with non-food franchising. Franchising is simply the better option for many entrepreneurs, and demand is at an all-time high. Lucky for you, John Austinson, founder of Franbridge Consulting, is here to help you today. John and his Franbridge Consulting team are part of the largest brokerage in the U.S. and are constantly vetting the market thoroughly. Franbridge is hands down the premier source for the best opportunities in the non-food franchising world. They will find the best business for you, your personality, and your location. From healthcare to dumpsters, from youth soccer to oil changes, even insulation and windows. And the best part, it's 100% fee-free, no additional costs to you. You may have heard John on Entrepreneurs on Fire. He has served as an Inc. 500 franchisor, a multi-brand franchisee, and in fact, he's one of the top 1% consultants nationwide. Listen, sign up for a free consultation with the CEO, John, today, not his assistant, not his sales team. Sign up for free with John today at franbridgeconsulting.com. That's franbridgeconsulting.com. And guess what? He's even going to send you a copy of his book for free, Non-Food Franchising. For free book. You got to love it. So go to franbridgeconsulting.com right now. All right, let's get into the episode.
All right, so Bhavya, I'm looking at information systems. I'm looking at cybersecurity. And as we talked about, a lot's happening in that industry. The real question, what I want to get behind is how this impacts entrepreneurs business owners, solopreneurs, contractors, because what we do is solve problems.
Right.
That's all we do. We solve one problem, we solve another one. We just keep solving problems. What are the big problems that you see coming? The problems that maybe the ordinary average person doesn't see, they're coming in these spaces. What are the big problems that you are going to be able to solve when it comes to cybersecurity in information systems?
So I think, that's a good question because problems are, constantly coming. And one of the biggest areas, and it might be, people might say it's a cliche, but, data security, everything is, exposed right now. And we're seeing, threat actors from around the world and domestically target people's data, whether it be financial data, health data. We had the SolarWinds hack last year or maybe 2 years ago. And so we need entrepreneurs to come up with ways to, keep people's data safe, but also make sure that people have confidence that their data will not be used in a way that's, in an improper way. And there's actually a really good company out there. I want to give them a shout out. There's a Way2 company. They've come up with a solution where, you and I, let's say we have need to access either a parent's account or intergenerationally, if something were to happen to you and your family needs to access your information, do you have all that information in kind of a secure place? Most people might have it in a diary somewhere or it's on a Google Drive file. They've come up with a company called Way2 where they're offering a solution that right now they're only dealing with businesses, but not individuals, where you can store your data with them, and they've encrypted it with the blockchain. They've encrypted it they're using AWS, so they've got really top-notch encryption. So that's one area where I see a tremendous amount of challenge and opportunity in the future.
Let's stay on there for just a second here. I agree. Cybersecurity. The last thing we want is to get our software, our CRM, our company hacked and get all of our clients' valuable data stolen. What impact do NFTs and the blockchain have in that world?
What impact does
the blockchain have? Doesn't the blockchain just solve all of this immediately? Do NFTs help us to prove ownership and to protect ownership?
Well, I think nothing is 100% secure. Blockchain is definitely a good innovation for that. As far as NFTs goes, I still feel that the space on the NFT side is a bit premature. You're seeing people still treat it more of like a speculative industry where they're trying to make a quick buck out of it right now. And so that's why you saw the crypto fluctuation go up so much last year and then come down. So I do think we're a little bit away on the NFT side. The technology behind the blockchain security, though, I believe has potential and can definitely help keep data safe. But, nothing is certain. There's threats are always emerging. We don't know what's going to be around the corner. And I think there's a tremendous business opportunity for entrepreneurs in this space to get ahead and create new products that help solve these problems.
Yeah, to me, blockchain is really interesting because once something's on the blockchain, it's on the blockchain, right? You can track where the ownership goes from there. I'm just curious, is that a focus on any of the classes here at NSU that you're going through? Like, what are some of the classes that are interesting?
So I think the first course that a lot of students in our program are going to take is the Fundamentals of Cybersecurity course. It's a course that most students will take. It's not, an elective or an upper division elective. And they briefly touch on blockchain in that course. However, I think, learning is going to happen in the classroom and outside the classroom. So there's plenty of resources online. I think events like this are great. We've got access to a cyber grade, military grade range for cybersecurity where that's offering courses, training for CompTIA certifications, and a variety of other opportunities. And so I think that, then you've got your traditional resources, YouTube, other courses. And so I think there's definitely an opportunity in the blockchain space for people that are interested in learning more to go out there and get some, new education on these technologies.
Super cool. Super cool. Bhavya, before we get into the rapid fire section here, where's the best place that we can find you?
The best place you can find me would probably be on my Instagram, which is at BRShah19. It's at BRSHAH19. Or on LinkedIn, you can search my name up, and that's spelled BHAVYA. For my first name, Bhavya. Last name is Shah, SHAH. Those are the two best ways to reach me. Just shoot me a message on LinkedIn, and I'd be happy to respond.
Boom. Awesome. Possum. Get ready. Buckle up. It's time for the rapid fire section. Bhavya.
Ready to go.
What is the scariest movie you have ever seen?
Scariest movie. I'm having a Gary Johnson Aleppo moment here. You're gonna have to pass on that question. I can't think of one that fast.
It's so scary. He blocked it from his mind.
I know.
He's so scary. He blocked it out. If you could be any animal, what would you be?
I think I'd want to be a horse. They're strong. They're reliable. They're versatile. So I guess I'd probably.
My wife's same answer. My wife has the same answer. Where are you going to be in 10 years?
Wow, 10 years. I think we talked about this earlier, and it's impossible to predict. And I think that's the your show is about entrepreneurs, and so I'd like to see myself either maybe as a solo entrepreneur or do some consulting work on the IT side. But who knows what the opportunities are going to look like, what the threats are going to look like in 10 years, and so it could totally change in 10 years from now. That's a long ways away.
It definitely can. It definitely will. I think that's an important question, though, because we want to take actions daily,
right,
that are going to mirror what our long-term goal is. And your long-term goal certainly will change, right?
Exactly.
But if we don't know where we're going, you don't know where you're going to end up, right? So anyway, that's the way I see it. If you could sit next to anybody on an airplane, who'd you sit next to?
Shaq. I think I'd pick Shaq because he's just, he's hilarious. And if we got a long flight, and you want someone to talk to, I feel like Shaq would probably be the funniest person to be on a flight with.
That's a cool answer. The problem though sitting next to Shaq is you're not gonna have a lot of elbow room.
That's true. Well, I assume, hopefully, if I'm on a plane with Shaq, hopefully we're in first class or something, so we got some space. But if Shaq's flying economy, then the economy's really in trouble because that guy's got a lot of money, and if he's flying economy, we're all in trouble.
That's fair. That's a good point. Final question here for you, Bhavya. If you had 10 seconds with yourself 10 years ago, what do you say?
I think I would probably tell myself 10 years ago, just to stick with it. There's going to be a variety of opportunities and challenges in life. I'm not going to get into the personal details and all that, but I'd probably tell myself 10 years ago that, things are going to improve. You never know. I would have never thought, 10 years ago I'd be living in Florida, being from Vancouver. Obviously, I thought the Canucks would win the Stanley Cup 10 years ago, but that didn't happen either. But I'm a hockey fan. Florida's got a good team down here this year, so I'll give them a shout out, the Panthers. But I would tell myself to, keep going forward. I think the best quote someone ever told me was, you don't get what you want in life, you get what you negotiate. So negotiate. And I guess I'll leave it at that.
I like that. You get what you negotiate. Well said, Bhavya. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yo, thanks for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're walking away with something practical that you can use in your business. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we will catch you here next time on After Hours Entrepreneur. It's up to you. Go take the action, baby. Go make it happen. See ya. Peace.